Hey guys, this is God of Politics, and before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, and join the Discord. I will have both of those linked down into the description. But today's video, I'm going to be doing a very different video from what videos I've done before, and this is going to be an election prediction for 2024 with Ron Desantis and Josh Hawley versus Andrew Cuomo and Gretchen Whitmer. So this would be assuming that Joe Biden loses the presidency in 2020. Donald Trump serves his second term. He finishes his second term. You have an open election. And I believe that in this situation, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, would win and pick Josh Hawley, the junior senator from Missouri, as his running mate, and Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, would pick Gretchen Whitmer as his running mate from the state of Michigan. She's the governor of Michigan. So I'm going to be doing the election prediction based on this, how I think the result is going to be if this were the election in 2024, kind of factoring in some trends that are happening as well. But yeah, so first we'll do the safe state thing for Ron DeSantis. He'd win all of these safe: North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska at large, 1st and the 3rd district, Kansas, Oklahoma, Alaska, Missouri, obviously, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Iowa, South Carolina, although it could be a likely margin, as well as Maine's 2nd district. And that is going to be 132 safe electoral votes for Ron DeSantis and Josh Hawley. And for Andrew Cuomo and Gretchen Whitmer, they'd win California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, Illinois, New York, Virginia safe. At this point, the trends would make it safe. Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, D.C. So that's 195 safe electoral votes for Andrew Cuomo and Gretchen Whitmer, and 132 safe electoral votes for Ron DeSantis and Josh Hawley. So now do the likely lean and tilt states. I think we'll start in the Northeast. I think first New Hampshire would be a tilt margin. The trends are kind of hard to see in this place. Obviously, it has trended red if you just look at the results, but you also have to look. Seats have flipped blue. Seats have also flipped red in this state, so you can't really pick a definitive trend, and neither of the Republican candidates are from this area anyway, whereas Andrew Cuomo is from the Northeast. He is Catholic as well. That can get him votes up there. Maine's 1st district will also, Maine's 1st district will also be safe, putting Maine at large in the lean column, because I think Maine's 1st district will be that much of a safe column, that to put Maine at large in the lean column, meaning that there will be 196 safe electoral votes for Andrew Cuomo and Gretchen Whitmer. Going down here to North Carolina, I think North Carolina will be a tilt margin. This is a state that could easily flip. I think maybe if Ron DeSantis isn't the nominee, it probably would flip, because the suburbs in places like Winston-Salem and Raleigh are heading away from the GOP, and they're coming to the Democrats in troves. And we've seen that used to be one of the GOP's biggest base. Democrats had rural voters, Republicans had suburban voters, but Democrats are not yet maxed out with suburban voters, whereas you could argue that Republicans are maxed out with rural voters, especially by this time. So North Carolina will definitely be a state that will be in play, not like it has in the last couple elections. Democrats have thought they could win here, but this will be a true swing state in this election, but it will still be a tilt margin to Ron DeSantis and Josh Hawley. Georgia I'll put as a lean margin just because it borders Florida, and Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida. It's a similar state in some ways, but the suburbs are trending, so maybe he's not the nominee. This state could easily flip. Texas, I think, is going to be a lean margin. The trends are just too real in this place. Even if you have a candidate that would resonate with a lot of voters here, it is still going to be a lean margin. New Mexico would be a safe margin as well. I forgot some of these safe margin states, putting the Democrats at 201 safe electoral votes. Colorado would be a likely margin. The trends in these two states are not to be forgotten. New Mexico arguably might not be a safe state, but I'm going to put it as a safe state just for this. The trend in places like the suburbs are trending away from the GOP. And if you have a candidate that's not really from this area, maybe Ron DeSantis could win some Latino voters, but we'll have to see how well he does in a place like Colorado or New Mexico. But at this point, I'd put New Mexico safe, Colorado likely. I think Arizona actually will flip. I think that the trends in this state are just not to be underestimated. You saw a 4-point trend from 2012 to 2016 in a year that Democrats did not do very well overall, and then the Democrats win a Senate seat the year later, and the trends are going to keep continuing, in my opinion. And even if you have a candidate that's not necessarily from this area, someone like Andrew Cuomo could probably do well in the suburbs in places like Maricopa County that could flip the state of Arizona to the blue column. Although Nevada will be a tilt margin, this will be a very close state due to the fact that Ron DeSantis might actually do well with Latino voters. And that will make it closer, but it still will go by a tilt margin, I think. Ohio will go by likely margin. This is a state that's been trending red for many years now. Obama won it both times. Trump wins it by around 8 points. He's most likely going to win it again this time. And I think that trend will continue. Maybe it won't be a safe margin, but I think it'll be pretty close to it. But yeah, Nebraska's 2nd district is also going to be a Democratic seat. This is another area that's very suburban. It's an area that Democrats have been doing well, and they did better in 2016 than they did in 2012, despite the fact that Hillary didn't do very well overall. And this is a district that probably could go blue in this election too, so that's something that a lot of people aren't watching out for. And by 2024, I think that the trends will be real enough that that could flip as well. Minnesota, I think, will be a lean margin. I think people are saying, oh, this is trending red, oh, this is trending red. That may be, but I don't think it's by a significant enough margin to flip it, especially someone like Trump, who did really well amongst rural voters. An establishment candidate like Ron DeSantis, who he's not as much of the establishment as some other people are, but he wouldn't, and obviously he's not from Minnesota, and VP choices may not even matter too much. But in the state of Minnesota, they might not be able to do as well with rural voters, and some of those voters that have been key to Democratic victories in Minnesota haven't lost there since 1980, when you had Walter Mondale, who was from the state of Minnesota. The only state he won was Minnesota. This is the last state that has gone red. It's been a long time, and I don't think it will be this time either. Pennsylvania, I think, would be a lean margin. I think this is a state that the trending blue, the trends will be bucked in 2020. I think this state is likely going to go to the Democrats, to Joe Biden, and you obviously have the suburbs of Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, and I know I keep mentioning the suburbs, but it's true, the suburbs are trending to the Democrats' column, and that's something that is going to aid them in states that have a lot of cities and therefore have a lot of suburbs. And while Republicans can do better in rural areas, I think that at this point, especially since you have Gretchen Whitmer on the ticket, she is from the Rust Belt, she is a bit of a different candidate, and Pennsylvania is also near New York. That can help them. Going down to Florida here, Florida will be a likely margin. Ron DeSantis will probably win by around 6 to 7 points. He is very popular as a governor, and while it's gone down a little bit because of this virus going around, I think it would be very beneficial for him to be on the ticket in the state of Florida, because he could win it by a likely margin, basically not even making it a swing state at that point anymore. Michigan would be a likely margin, just due to the fact that Gretchen Whitmer, she's not the most popular governor, but now her approval rating has gone up to 60%, and she's on the ticket with someone like Andrew Cuomo, who is pretty popular at this point, and it is also a traditionally very blue state. It went to Obama both times by almost safe margins. Michigan will probably go by a likely margin to Andrew Cuomo and Gretchen Whitmer. Now he's at 280, and I think that Wisconsin will go by a tilt margin. Wisconsin seems to be trending a lot more in the opposite direction, kind of, from the Democrats. Whereas the Rust Belt states are kind of going in the opposite direction. You could argue they're trending red too, but I feel like it's a lot less than the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin is a state that barely went to the Democrats in the midterms, despite it being a D+9 electorate in a wave year. And they did win the judge election yesterday, which I will talk about tomorrow. But at this point, I'd say that even in this situation, it is near New Missouri as well. Josh Hawley can help them campaigning there. At this point, I'll say that it will be a tilt margin for the Republicans, putting the overall map at 280 electoral votes for Andrew Cuomo and Gretchen Whitmer, 258 for Ron DeSantis, Josh Hawley. Democrats flipping Arizona from 2016, and that would be the only flip, as well as actually, obviously, Michigan and Pennsylvania flipping as well. Wisconsin staying, Florida staying, some states getting closer, some states getting further apart. But this is kind of to show the trends as well. But at this point, this is my map, 280 to 258. Thank you all for watching this video. Please like and subscribe as always. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and I will see you guys later.